This is a topic that I absolutely cannot wait to talk about because, look, in my heart of hearts, when you start talking RPGs, based on what we've seen, based on what we think we know, and based on what I'm hoping for, Fable will be not only a game of the year contender, meaning that they could win it all, but RPG of the year. Now, I want to press pause on that for a second because there's a little game coming out that seems to have piqued just about everyone's interest. And I have a tweet in front of me from Spawn Yard. Let me have that tweet pop up here. I'm loading the tweet as we speak. Now, it's Spawn Yard Reply on Twitter. And the reason why I bring him up is not because, we're good friends or anything. It's because of a tweet that he put out there that I think is worthy of reading aloud. And then, of course, we have a couple from Okami13 underscore, who's another phenomenal ex-poster that gives us some additional context to why Crimson Desert is not only going to be potentially a game of the year contender, I think it's going to hit like Elden Ring did. And that's really saying a lot considering I have not played this game. But check this out, folks. Spawnyard on Twitter wrote what I thought was an absolute brilliant tweet. Simplistic in nature, but loaded with information. And he goes on to say this, gentlemen in chat. Every time a new news information comes out from Crimson Desert's camp, it gets better and better. Here are some bullet points that he confirmed, and of course has been confirmed by Pearl Abyss, who's the studio making the game. The game will not have any difficulty options. It's going to be the same experience for all. The game is not aiming to be overly difficult, but everyone is going to have the same experience in regards to its difficulty. And that kind of gives me the Elden Ring vibes almost immediately. And I'm okay with that. They're not going to make the game too punishing, but it's going to be challenging. And obviously, as the player, you need to get better weapons, better armor, better magic, and just continue to, raise the level of your character. So your enjoyment is going to be based on how much you put into the game. That's awesome. Here's a big part. Considering where we are in the industry, how the industry is moving, well, chat and gentlemen on the panel, the game will, quote, not have any microtransactions. This is dope. This is what it's about. Buy the premium game, and I have some thoughts, literally, and some. I want to read verbatim what the studio themselves had to say about this. So, no microtransactions. You could choose from one of 4 characters after a point in the game. Now, what exactly does that mean? I'm not sure. Does that mean that you're going to be able to have a character select where you have to? Can you choose different characters that you can continue your game with? Can you, will 4 characters be at your disposal? I'm not sure, but I can't wait to find out. And lastly, the game is developed to please fans of Red Dead Redemption 2, Witcher 3, God of War, Elden Ring, Zelda, and more. Check, 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 check. Holy shit, are you kidding me? They are looking to take any RPG fan and say, you're going to love our game. But that's not the only thing, folks. That's one of 3 tweets I want to read. Now, the other one that I have in front of me is from, of course, like I said earlier, Okami13 underscore, a phenomenal member of the X community. And he has, again, it's a small tweet, but I hold on a second. That's my notification. He has a small tweet here that I think has a lot of weight. He says, Crimson Desert has a major focus on organic exploration. See, now this really is meant for Umbra and Boom, because this is how we play the games. According to Pearl Abyss, they go on to say They want you to get lost in this. They want you to get distracted. And most importantly, they want you to have fun in what you're doing and the variety of content. And according to Okami, he's a big fan of this. Sounds like Breath of the Wild's exploration, and he's not wrong. But that is just tip of iceberg, ladies and gentlemen. Look, Jamie, I'm going to go to you first because you and Umbra, for that matter, have been talking up this game for quite some time. I think based on what we've seen, it's probably going to be a game of the year contender. It is a game that is offering, and I say this all the time. You've heard me say this, and you've heard Umbra actually utter these same words. The more that you put into this, the more experience and fun you are going to have. So if you go into this and you know, don't go searching for things like for me and for even for Umbra, and I can speak from because we literally play the same. We are always looking for the shiny thing that's to the left or the right of us, never what's directly in front of us. And moving to the right gets us to something else. And then as we kind of look to the left of where we were going, we keep looking to the right and we find something else and we keep going that way until at one point we're like, man, we're 7 hours later, we got to get back to what we were doing. And then we find something else that's shiny. Jamie, I am so excited for this game. I bought the deluxe edition. They could have charged, $100, and I would have gladly paid for it. But they did. The standard game is $70. The deluxe edition is $10 more, which I think is great. I bought that. I think that this is a game that is coming out at the right time because there are no other big games, or at least I can remember. But I cannot wait for this game. I am so looking forward to just getting lost in it. And again, like the poster said previously, the more we hear about this game, the more excited I get as a gamer. But I want to get your thoughts.
Man, I had to check before just to make sure. Yeah, I started posting about this game in October 2019. So, yeah, clearly I've been excited for a while. I mean, this game, look, this game is absolutely massive. Its open world has been described as a continent, right? Continent, not island, not country, continent, right? Goodbye backlog. But this game has everything. Like, if you look at like just the gameplay mechanics, and this is one of the main things I've been excited for, is like it has the best elements from Red Dead Redemption, Witcher 3, Skyrim, Tears of the Kingdom, all rolled into one. You have fishing, you have horse racing, you have base building, you have character customization of the 3 different characters. You have fight clubs. There's a farm you can build. There's blacksmithing. There's different storefronts you can go to. You can make friends with NPCs. There's a wanted system. Hello, GTA fans.
You could fly like Batman from Arkham.
You can fly. There's mechs in the game. Try and make sense of that. There's dragons. There's horses. I think there's camels. Like, you can ride bears in the game. There's a giant wolf. Like, there's an untold and there's blimps. There's an untold amount of gameplay mechanics in this game, right? And like this team's been going all out for years, man. Right? Every time I've posted about this game, I get one main reply. I think it's a fake game, right? Vaporware. There's been a lot of times in the past where we see a game and we think that looks a bit too good to be true. And a lot of the times that is the case, right? But with this game, I've been trying to tell people it's not the case, right? They've been showing off hours of footage, literally hours of footage, and the game looks phenomenal. It's built on their own proprietary game engine. The game looks stunning. As of now, it's meant to be 60 FPS on the Xbox Series X. I don't know about the S. But like this game is, I think it's the next fantasy RPG. Every single year ish, there's a big fantasy game that comes out and it takes the world by storm. You had Elden Ring, then you had Baldur's Gate 3. I know it's not a fantasy game, but Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, ye old timey stuff like that took the world by storm. I think this is going to be that next game, and just because it offers the just a range of gameplay and mechanics. The story looks interesting. There's different factions in the game that you can side with. There's multiple different story arcs and storylines. And like to some people, it might seem like a lot, right? If people don't like a lot of different gameplay mechanics, then this clearly isn't a game for them. But if you've been looking for a big new fantasy RPG, this is going to be it. This is really going to be it. Oh yeah, there's destruction and outposts. There's wars between factions going on at the same time as you're doing your quests and stuff. And one of the things that just came out today is that it has exploration-based progression. So basically, there's no skill points in the game via XP. You find these artifacts out in the open world, and that's how you gain skills and attribute points. Or attribute style points, and like that's how they're doing that, because you have such a huge map. Why not take advantage of that to actually, because a lot of open world games, I feel like they don't take advantage of all the open areas, and it looks like they're doing away with the skill point system and just going, hey, we have this big map, go explore, and you're going to be rewarded for it in the best way possible. No microtransactions. And the funny thing is, a lot of people have been saying for years it's going to be riddled with microtransactions because it's by a studio that makes MMOs. Clearly not the case. And I think, a lot of people are going to be attached to this game for a long time. People probably going to get hundreds of hours out of it. People are just going to mess with the wanted system for a very long time. But man, like as an RPG fan, as a single player fan, this game is going to keep people busy for a long time this year. I think it's potentially going to be one of the biggest games of the year. Obviously, we have GTA and stuff coming out later this year, but like fantasy fans, RPG fans, single player fans, it looks like this is going to be the game for a long time.
When the one thing I find to be almost unbelievable, Umbra, is when you take a game like this and you have the dev come out and say, yes, when we were making this game, titles like Grand Theft Auto and Batman Arkham series and a host of other games that you know and love, you're fans of, that made you a fan of said game. Well, our game has been inspired by not one, not two, but potentially 12 to 15 of these. Zelda Breath of the Wild and its exploration. The fact that you could literally fly around the map like Batman in Arkham. The fact that there's a wanted system, that if you do enough crimes like GTA, they're going to send the big dogs for you. And I can just continue to go and go. And of course, there are no spoilers here, because I probably know as much as you, and I am actively not reading about this game. I've read a couple of them. Obviously, I had to read a few stories to kind of get my sea legs with the game, because I've been covering everything. So, I had to focus because we have a topic here today. But Umbra, I saw your response to Okami, and I actually have that in front of me. You say, Kami, bro, I'm gonna go missing playing this game. I will go absent for a month or so. I'm not surprised by that commentary. As a matter of fact, I expect you to pull all-nighters, because wherever you're working on midnights when it gets a little low, I know that there's a handheld coming out and you're going to be playing this game. I want to get your thoughts on this, Umbra, because I know you have a lot to say. You literally said in the DM, I could tell your excitement. You can't wait to not only play the game, but more specifically, talk it up. Let's hear your thoughts, bro.
It's so many things in here, and much like what Jamie pointed out, like they don't have a leveling system much as you have. the abyss artifacts you find within the land, right? So you know I'm going to be roaming all over the place to find these things you use to upgrade your gear, your weaponry, stuff like that. The map is gigantic, by the way. He, like Jamie said, it's like a continent. So it's as I believe they saw some comparisons where it was bigger than, what was the last biggest map? I believe I think it was bigger than Red Dead Redemption 2. I think bigger than what was the, I forgot which one it was. Let me think on that for a second. But that said, what I'm impressed by is, like you said, they are taking all these different elements from all these different games, right? Like you said, Batman, you do have the kind of gliding thing he does with that magical crow cape I've seen him with, but you've also seen him with like this Spider-Man like web thing he shoots out and swings around with, and that you can, it seems to be that you can use the left stick or whatever to spin yourself around, and then, like, if you watch one of the gameplay breakdowns, he spun around a few times and jumped into some enemy's base and did this spin attack to smash down on the ramparts. It looks ridiculous. It looks like a sandbox game all the way, right? Like you can just be creative and do whatever you want. So like what I'm loving about it is all of those things. Like you said, you have this speaking of GTA, because you say that they'll send people after you. It also has things akin to a GTA where the NPCs are really interactive, right? In the bounty system, like you said, but it also has a Zelda Breath of the Wild kind of feeling to it, because outside of just the abyss upgrades that you get, they have those what they call the abyss islands. So you have those floating islands you all may have seen in gameplay, where you get to go up there, much like Breath of the Wild. You may have even seen him diving off, like Link and Master Chief have, off those those islands and doing whatever. I'm interested in seeing how that all plays out. You also get your home base that you can do what you need to do to build up that and manage your companions and stuff like that, and build your structures and all of these types of things. I think you can even farm in this game. I would dare say you can probably do too damn much in this game. And that's the only thing I'm wondering. You know what I mean? That's the only thing I'm wondering.
Will it be overwhelming?
Will it be overwhelming?
Question.
Right. Exactly. And I mean, it could be the case, but I think that what they're doing is they're putting, because it was, I don't know if anyone knew this, but this game was slated to be an MMO at first. It wasn't.
It was correct, and they changed it to a single player game, which is insane.
Right. And because of that, I think that's why they have so much of these elements like this, like, oh, I can do this job, I can do that instead, or I can do this. So you don't have to go and do those things, to be fair. If you don't want to farm, I don't think you have to do it. So there is that. You don't want to go, I don't know, building up managing your buildings or whatever, or community. Maybe you don't have to do that. I think it's just all those elements there that if you choose to go and do that, you can do that. So, and that will be the smartest way they can do it, not make it a part of something you have to do. Make it something that you can choose to do. Even outside of those things, again, you got, like, I go to the combat, and I'm impressed by what I've seen with the combat. It's not as Souls-like. This is more freeform. Right? It's got more of a
seems more action oriented.
Yeah, It's got more of a Dragon Dogma / Witcher-esque / what would I compare it to? It's like I don't know how else to express it, but it seems
the combat I saw had when Okami mentioned that it had a God of War and Dragon's Dogma kind of a combat to it.
It definitely has a Dragon's Dogma-esque feeling to it a little bit, but it's something else. It's another. Oh, that's a good one, Sodanist. Shadow of Mordor. That's exactly what
it is. Yes, that's a really good one. Good pick, dude. Great pick.
I can see those two being a mesh. It's like a Shadow of Mordor / kind of a Dragon's Dogma feel, from what I've seen. Because you can even do like straight pro wrestling moves, and I saw them doing like body slams and suplexes, and like it looks ridiculous. And even with the Dragon's Dogma comparison, if you notice, if you watch some of the gameplay, you'll see him run up some of the bigger enemies you could face, and he'll jump off and do these crazy smooth dives where you shoot off the arrows in slow motion. Very Dragon's Dogma like. it's so much that to appreciate from this game that I just hope they stick the landing. It just seems like there's so much that it could go wrong too. But I am of the mind that it's going to be good. And it's another thing too. We got another element where you have what seems like a standard fantasy world, right? With the dragons and all that. You would expect that. But you can not only get on dragons and ride them, you can ride bears, and you can also get these mechanical like mechs that you can get into.
Yes.
And you've even seen like airplanes in a game where he floated to and landed on. Like it seems like it's so much to do in this world. And I'm not sure how that all balances it out, but I am very, very excited to get into this game, man. I really am. And I'm not kidding when I say that I'm going to disappear. What were you saying, Jamie?
Do you want to hear something crazy? I just found out. Apparently, to get across the entire map on a horse takes 2 hours.
Sheesh.
Well, there's that.
That's insane. That's insane. And that horse goes pretty quick from what I've seen. Yeah. But like, yeah, it's dope, man. I'm loving all of that. Also, I love that they don't have the microtransactions. I think also too, you saw a lot of the customization where you can style out what's his name? what was his name? McFluffin. I forgot what this guy's name was. I laughed at it though. I'm like, oh, that's a super fantasy man name. I forgot what it was, but it's hilarious, the name they gave him. But you can style him out in so many different ways from his hair and everything else, and you can even change the color of the armor and all of that. I'm going to pre-order it. Probably.
Mine's been pre-ordered since I think you know what? I think it was already pre-ordered before it was announced for Play Anywhere. And then when I listen, I forget a lot of stuff. I'm sorry, I'm an old man, but I did forget that I pre-ordered it. I pre-ordered a lot of games, and after the minute I heard, oh, it's Play Anywhere, I went to go. I'm like, oh, you own this game? Well, there you go.
Well, I'm going to pre-order it, and if you pre-order, you get certain armors and such too, and they look pretty damn cool. I gotta say,
yeah, they do. Yeah,
they look like the standard, knight's armor. Like, it looks fantastic. I have to say. I think PlayStation has a unique one though that you get only with PlayStation if you pre-order it. But
that's fine. I mean, listen, that's so PlayStation, so that's not surprising at all.
Not at all. But I don't think it's enough where it's like, oh, well, I got to get it on PlayStation because the one you can get that you get from pre-ordering in general looks to me better than that one, or at least comparably great. And I mean, I'm super excited for this game, and I'm trying to properly express everything the way I want to express it. But I think if they can land this game the way they need to, it absolutely could be a Game of the Year contender. By the way, his name is Cliff with a K.
Oh,
that's his name.
Of course it is.
I'm like, oh, Cliff.
Well, hopefully you can change the name so you're not Cliff. Mine will be Achilles. And if you want to know why that particular name is, because that is my old Dungeons and Dragons character from the 80s. That is always every one of the RPGs I play. If I could change the names, it's Achilles Savage is the first and last name. So there you go.
First of his name. When you said it, I'm thinking, did you name him that, or naming him that because of Brad Pitt playing as him?
No, but yeah, it's funny. I've had people ask me that, and I'm like, no, I actually had that well before him. I was in the 80s when I played D&D with my brother and my friends. My character was Achilles, so I had it first.
You say you're the originator. I guess
that is correct. Yes,
I guess you. No,
I'm not as rich and good looking as that dude, but it's okay. It's fine.
And one other thing I'll throw out there too: you don't only get to play as Cliff. You get an orc character, and you get this lady that you get to play as.
Yeah, I was reading something before. It says that at some point during the game, you'll be able to pick between 4 characters.
Yeah, I saw 3, but maybe there's another option.
There's a fourth one. There's 4 characters you'll be able to select through. And I literally said to Jamie, I don't even know what this means. And now you've explained it. Yes, you'll be able to play a different character, which I think is freaking dope.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work. I wonder how they're going to, like I said earlier, you do get to have this management of the people that's around you. I'm guessing you recruit them, and then you can pick and choose to use them, I'm guessing, on a mission. That's what it seems like.
Okay.
But man, like I said, I'm super excited, and they have their own unique play styles too. So if you watch those video breakdowns of it, super excited. The game looks like it's going to be, a 200+ hour kind of game for me. I can already see that, probably more, depending on how great it is. Yeah, I look at that and I see this in this open world fantasy kind of setting. I look at it and I think, oh, Witcher 3. And The Witcher 3 for me is just this, game of the generation that I can't quite put away. And I always go back to. This looks like it's going to be that type of game for me. It's going to be one of those I keep going back to in the future. You know what I mean?
I mean, listen, I think what sets this game already apart is the fact that the company is out there telling you they're naming the names, right? When you start talking about Zelda Breath of the Wild, God of War, Grand Theft Auto, Arkham, even though they didn't mention it, I mean, you're flying around like Batman, and they take an opportunity to make mention of all of these games that were meant as inspiration to the team developing this game. And they come out, and one of the things that they have been really driving the point home in the last couple of weeks, more specifically, last week they were here, there, and everywhere, and they really wanted to make it clear that besides it not having microtransactions, they want you to feel like you're getting your money's worth. And a $70 investment in the game for the standard one, or the $10 upgrade to the $80 edition that gives you, a bunch of bonuses and armors and things. By them coming out and saying, hey, listen, we want you to play our game. We're not going to try and nickel and dime you, and we are going to deliver a premium experience for the premium price that you're paying. And this really does lend the fact to, I think, just based on the industry, just taking a step back and looking at the industry as a whole, gentlemen in chat, people are tired. People can't afford these $70 plus games. And the fact that you're going to buy a game, and let's say, for instance, you don't buy the $10 upgrade. I just want the $70 game, and you buy it, and you walk away from this with a potential 200+ hour experience. That's a premium experience because you can do everything and pretty much anything at this point. That's going to leave a real positive mark on an industry that is starting to tire out its audience. That's the truth. I mean, again, I'm not going to stop beating the drum of Xbox Game Pass. And even though this is not one of those games, we are, and I say we, Xbox players who subscribe, are getting their money's worth already this year. They have been doing a bang-up job going back the last couple of years, and this year is going to be even more insane. And then you turn around and you hear that the developer in Pearl Abyss isn't tone deaf to what the community is saying and how the community is feeling. And I think that not only is that encouraging, but that should be a start and stop, conversational piece for a lot of these publishers and developers. What we've seen, the trend of gaming has become is to try and separate you from your wallet outside of your initial purchase. And some of these games are free to play and they don't cost you anything up front, but they try to get you in the back end. But a lot of the games do try to nickel and dime you after you've already invested $70, $80. So it's a big deal. And I love the message from Pearl Abyss. And I think that this is going to be a game that we will be talking about for many, many months to come after its release, and certainly many years after its initial release.